All right, ma'am. Thank you so much. You have joined in this specific lecture, and I request you all. And no, not going to wait anymore for any further student, because if they wish to join, they can join. Nowadays, the students are busy because they are like you. They are the housewives of or the other reason maybe. So just before starting this lecture, I would like to ask you that today's we have already delivered you longer two lectures. The first one was relating to communication, and the second one was relating to specifically the paper second, that was organization behavior topic under the concept and subject of a human resources management. I have taught you clearly regarding what theories are there and what do we mean by personality, that is totality of a person. And I have taught you regarding different theories of a personality. And only two or three, I think these were very minor theories which are left, which we shall be covering in this topic. And specifically, I am going to take this lecture for the next topic, that is going to be the perception. Perception is also the part of the study of a human resources behavior, because as you know that now we have ushered towards the topic of organization behavior. So that's why I'm going to cover each and every aspect relating to the which directly or indirectly influences the human relation behaviors. So personality we have gone through, perception we are going to do right now. But before going through, what I want to ask, this is only the question that what I have taught you in a previous lecture, do you have understood that? Indu ma'am, Nisarga ma'am, do you have understood that what I wish to taught you in previous lecture? Although I know that you cannot remember all these things in one go, it's very difficult for everyone. But do you have understood what I wish to teach you in the previous lecture? That's the question. All right, thank you so much. So this lecture is just going to be the extension of the previous one. In the previous lecture, we studied regarding the personality theories. We left at some of the personality theories. We shall be covering those, and after that, we shall be going to the perception topic. I shall tell you its how the perception is made, what are the perception theories and perception barriers. Just going to share the screen. Just give me 1 second, and I just show you what is there for you. All right. I hope that now this shall be completely visible to you. I have already shared my screen. This is going to be the extension of a personality theory which we have already studied, and now we shall move towards perception as well. So this is all we are going to study in this specific lecture. Firstly, I shall teach you the remaining theories. Just remind somewhat what we have studied. Okay, we have studied regarding trait theory, then social learning theory, then I taught you regarding frauds theory, then tripartite theory we have understood. Okay, these kind of theories we have gone through. In extension of these, this is the next one, and this is known as Cattell's 16 point or PF trait theory, that contains the 16 different traits. Okay, so this theory is very easy. So Cattell 1965, he just disagreed with the INX view. He has also given a theory which we have already studied, that there can be only 1 or 2 or 3 dimensions. Rather, Cattell said there are 16 different dimensions of traits which makes the personality of a person or an individual. So I mean to say, Cattell has given a theory which says that there are 16 different points of traits which makes the personality of a theory, and personality do not depends only 2 or 3 dimensions of behavior. So in notes, I have given a complete picture of all these 16 points which you have to go through. So I hope you would have understood about this theory. They just tell that there are 16 different points which shows in total the personality of a person. Now we move to the next one, and this is Allport's trait theory. they emphasized on different traits. They said that uniqueness of individual and the internal cognitive and motivational process influence your behavior. Okay, so they tells that traits are made up only because of your internal cognitiveness and your motivational processes. From these kind of things, whatever the traits are made up, on the basis of these traits the personality can be derived. So this was the Allport's trait theory, which stressed upon these things like internal cognitive behavior or motivational processes of an individual. That was the Allport's theory in all. Now we move to the next one, and that is authoritarian personality. This is not a theory in itself, but this is just a research work of someone, and that was of Adorno et al. In 1950 he did a research, and he proposed that prejudice is the result of an individual's personality type. Okay, so they piloted and developed a questionnaire. They made a questionnaire which is called F scale, F for fascism. So they just did that research. They told that on your personality based, you just prejudice with the different things, and they have, what is their contribution to the society? Their contribution is just F scale. Okay, F scale is a scale on which the questions of their questionnaire were designed. Okay, and they asked some trait about questions from different persons, and they made the conclusion about personality of individuals. So that was all in that. This is not a theory, but this is just known as authoritarian personality, that tells that individuals prejudice between the different objects upon on the basis of their own understanding or own personality. So it was all about what they have said. I hope you would have got some idea of what we are going to do in these. So now if I show you the next one, I told you that only some personality theories are left. We have already gone through from the 3 left theories, and now we have to move towards the most important concept, that is going to be perception. So what is perception? Okay, what is perception? Perception simply means the process of perceiving. The process of perceiving. Okay. If I don't show you, if I don't speak something, like I'm just showing you a screen, see this. I have shown you a screen. You suddenly read this. You suddenly read this and you perceive. Perceive simply means you thought. You thought something regarding this specific slide and you made up your mind. You made up your mind that what can be there in this specific slide. This is called perception. Okay, so perception is the process by which you organize, you identify, you interpret your sensory information, so that you attach meaning to different things. Meaning, okay, you're just walking somewhere. Okay, you just see a moving car. Okay, suddenly your mind tells you that this is a car and this is running. Somebody is running this car. So this is called your sensory process, which gives you information that something is happening. This is called perception. So perception is the organization, identification, interpretation of sensory information in order to represent and understand information or the environment. So before understanding, because you wish to understand something, this is why you perceive. Because if you perceive something, only then you can get some information regarding that object. If I show you my camera, then if I don't speak anything, just to show you my camera, suddenly your brain shall tell you that this is a camera. You can use it for clicking pictures, you can use it for recording videos, you can use it for online classes, for anything, that all your brain tells you. How brain tells you? Because brain thinks. How brain thinks? Because brain perceives the stimuli, perceives the sensory information. So this is called the process of perception. I hope you would have got this completely right now. I'm just explaining and stretching it all. So this is the process of perception which you have to understand. Then we shall move towards different theories of perception. So first of all, what happens? There are some kind of sensory organs, which is your brain, which can be your eyes, which can be your nose, which can be your ears. They are sensory organs which gain or which achieve some kind of sensory information. These sensory organs transforms input energy into neural activity, called the process of a transduction. So this is the first thing. Okay, you see a flower. Your eyes works as a sensory organs. What does they do? They take the input energy from the flower. They convert this into a neural activity, and this activity is known as a transduction. Then what happens? This raw pattern of neural activity is called proximal stimulus. It creates a stimuli. Okay, then what happens? Then these neural signals are transmitted to brain and processed. Then this stimuli is sent to your brain. Then what brain happens? The resulting mental recreation is the percept. When your brain sends you the output, this output is your percept. Percept means what you have perceived regarding a certain thing. So this was the process of perception. I hope you would have got idea. First of all, what you just get some kind of a stimuli. Okay, you just get a kind of a stimuli. After getting the stimuli, you just go through this processing of stimuli is known as a transduction. After that, raw pattern are made, which are known as proximal stimulus. Then these stimulus are transmitted to brain, and these are processed, and then brain just send you the output which is known as percept. So this is the process of perception. Now we move further and see what is there in perception. There are some famous theories of perception, as there were the theories regarding personality. So these things we have to understand and go through. I shall not make you that much bored, because these are not a lot in numbers like there were the theories of personality. Perception theories are very easy and very small. Okay, so the first theory is empirical theory of perception. This tells you how do you perceive. Okay, so these theories hold that sensory system incorporate information about statistical property of natural world. So how do you perceive? What does this theory tells you? How do you perceive? This tells you that your sensory system, there is a your sensory system. Sensory system contains all the sensories like eyes, nose, ears, brain, or these kind of things, like your touch. These are sensory system. They just incorporate information. Incorporate information means they just receive information. They just incorporation information about statistical properties of natural world. Like you are watching a flower. These your sensory system shall incorporate information about the flower, and then these sensory systems shall send this information to your brain. So this is all about empirical theory. It just tells you that your sensory system incorporates information about statistical properties of natural world, and they design it. So that was all about this, and they design this into a stimuli, and that is sent to your brain, and after that perception is done. So that was the first theory which emphasized on the role of your sensory system. Now we move to the next theory, and this is going to be regarding inactivism. What does happen in inactivism? It tells you that cognition or perception arises through a dynamic interaction between acting organism and its environment. Okay, now what does it tell you? This is an organism. This is an organism, and this is an environment of that organism. Okay, environment of that organism. So what is organism? We, for example, we can take, this is a flower. This is simply a flower. This is a rose, flower of rose. Okay, and it is in a garden, and that garden is its environment, and they are interacting with each other. Like flower is consuming water, then air, then all these things. Okay, this is consuming. So it is interacting with its environment. So inactivism just tells you that you can perceive the things only when they interact with their environment. So this is all about that. I hope you would have understood this completely. Inactivism argued that cognition arises through a dynamic interaction between acting organism and its environment. It claims that our environment is one which we selectively create through our capacities to interact with the world. So this line just tell you that when the organism interact with its environment, then what the result is produced, that results in your cognition or perception. So it was all about inactivism. So we have understood regarding empirical theory and inactivism. Now we move further. This is, I think this is the third theory. This is known as a feature integration theory. Feature integration theory. So what is this? That was given in 1980 by N.A. Trizem and Gary Gallet. And they told that you don't perceive any object as a whole. Like I am watching at a flower. Okay, I shall not perceive a flower as a whole. Okay, I have to understand its feature. First of all, your stimuli or your sensory organs just understand about the features of the organism. After features have been integrated, only then you can perceive regarding them. So what is that? They suggest that when perceiving a stimulus, features are registered early. You just register early the whole picture of the flower. After that, what you do automatically in parallel while objects are identified separately. What you do, you try to perceive a flower from its different parts. Okay. So in this way, the perception is made as per this theory. This is feature integration theory. First of all, you take the complete picture of the organ of the object in your mind. After that, you just understand about its feature by identifying its features separately, and at later stage processing the theory has been one of the most influential model. So ultimately that model became very influential in research context. So that was the feature integration theory of perception. Now we move further to the fourth one. This is RBC theory, known as recognition by components theory. This tells you, you perceive. How do you perceive? You just see on object, not from the point of view of its completality or its wholeness. You don't perceive it as a whole. What do you see? First of all, I'll tell you. Irvin Bederman in 1987 proposed this theory known as RBC. They told that you have to recognize object by separating them into geons, the main component parts. They suggested the geons can be any basis on three-dimensional shapes like cylinders, cones. On these bases, first of all, you have to make a picture of the object. Like again, watching the flower. What does shape of a flower has? Okay, so on basis of this shape, you perceive a different thing. That was the theory known as recognition by component. They told just separate the object into different geons. These are known as component parts. These are three-dimensional shapes. So on basis of that, you can easily differentiate between the object and you can perceive regarding them easily. I think that was over the concept regarding the different theories of perception. I have taught you regarding these, each and everything shall be delivered to you. Last topic is left for this specific video lecture, and that is going to be relating to what are the different kind of barriers in the process of your perception. What are the different kind of barriers that we have to understand? Okay, so I am just going to give you idea regarding all the barriers. So when you perceive regarding any object, when you make any kind of a perception, while making the perception, there are some kind of barriers which we have to understand, and I must tell you, these are very important. There are 8 major barriers for perceptual accuracy. I'm going to explain you one by one all. The first barrier is a selective perception. When you select only certain object from the environment, you just ignore all. Okay, you just, there are number of students sitting in the classroom, but we highlight, if we highlight or we consider only few one, this is known as a selective perception. We are thinking only about them. We are just ignoring all. This is called first barrier. This is selective perception. We think about some objects only. We think like it can be considered as this as well. Like I am talking to you, I am thinking only about selective traits of yours. So this is called selective perception. First barrier. The second is attribution. It is the process by which people draw conclusion about the factors that influence or make sense of one another's behavior. Okay, when we attribute someone to other, this is known as the process of attribution. So like I have talked to someone named A. Okay, I have talked or I have thought regarding someone, he is named A, and I have got to know about some characteristics or traits of his behaviors, and I am attributing these behavior to others as well. Okay, attributing these to other as well. This is called attribution error or barrier. I hope by this example you would have understood that this is the process by which we draw conclusion about the factor that make sense of one another's behavior. So these are, when we recognize only those parts, we attribute someone, we have already made up our mind regarding some attributes. We are thinking about these only. This is attribution barrier. The third one is stereotyping. Stereotyping. Okay. So this is a complete group. Okay, complete group, and this is the group of bad people. Bad people. 5 person are there. A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So I met E on a certain day. Okay. Before knowing about E, I am just making my perception that he is bad one. Why? Because he belongs to a bad group. This is known as stereotyping. When you judge someone on the basis of a group to which they belong, this is called stereotyping. This is the third barrier. Now we move to the next one. This is halo effect. Halo effect. Okay. So when you judge people on the basis of a single trait, okay, like someone is handsome, or a lady is beautiful. Okay, on basis of these things, on basis of just a single trait or just a single thing, you perceiving that she is a very good lady, or she is a very good man, very best or great man, or maybe he's a very bad man. Okay, so just on the basis of a single trait, you make the perception regarding the completality of a person. This is known as halo effect. Now we move to the fifth barrier. This is projection. Projection. Okay, when you assume that somebody is similar to me, okay, it is easy to judge if we assume all are all are just similar to me. Like I am a teacher, I have certain characteristics. I join a job and I assume that all are like me. All are like me. This is called projection. This is also a barrier. This is also error because no one is similar. Everybody is different. This is called projection barrier. Now we move further. This is sixth one. This is implicit personality theory. Okay. In judging or making inferences about others, an individual's perception is influenced by his beliefs that certain traits are associated with one another. Okay. You have seen two people. They both are brothers. Okay. They both are brothers. And you have met, you are very friendly with A, but you don't know B. Okay. Suddenly you are meeting B and you are thinking that they can be associated with similar traits. This is known as implicit personality theory. That is, on the basis of only certain human traits, you are associating different people with one another. This is known as implicit personality theory or barrier in the process of perception. Now this is seventh one. This is expectancy. When you expect something, this is that. Okay. Suddenly you meet someone and you just got astonished by looking at their charisma. Okay. By just looking at their personality, you just got amazed and you felt that how great this person is. And suddenly you started expecting something from him, like he shall do good for us, he shall help us, or he shall do something good for the society. He will be a human, he will be a very good human being. This is called the tendency to perceive people event on the basis of what you expect from them. This is also a barrier in perception. I think this is the last one. This is perceptual set. Okay, when that is perceptual set. Okay, you have met A number of times. You have perceived something regarding him and you have made a perceptual set regarding him. You know each and every characteristic regarding A. After 20 years, you again meet A. Okay. You have previously set up a complete perceptual set regarding A. You are not ready to change this perceptual set. You are not ready to know A on the basis of current characteristics he is holding. You just perceive him on the basis of whatever the perceptual set you have made regarding him 20 years ago. So this is known as the eighth barrier in the way of perception, which is known as perceptual set. So I think these were the complete details regarding what you have to understand and what you have to go through in this specific lecture. I hope you would have got the idea of what was there in this lecture. So only some details. After that, I shall be completing this lecture. I hope you would have got extreme knowledge, and that was also a kind of large lecture. A lot of things you have studied from me today, and tomorrow there is Saturday. Although nothing has been defined in the schedule regarding the regarding shall we shall we take the classes or not, but I am thinking that we shall take the classes in the morning time so that it do not burdenize us in the weekdays, because you have and I also have some other engagements as well. So if there are 3 or 4 lectures for the Monday or Tuesday, that can be taken tomorrow morning, and we shall be informing you regarding all these things or all these developments. I hope you would have completely understood what I wish to taught you in this specific lecture. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Gurpal Singh from Gurpal Education.